You are my shelter from the storm. You keep me safe inside your wings. You are my comfort when life gets hard. You lead me to water to drink. Your gentle hand, even when I can't understand, I know your voice. I'm not afraid, walking with me at the same pace.
When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I'm still searching for him. Thank you guys for coming in this evening's Q&A. My name is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. My son, Daniel, came out to Arizona right after college, at the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. He graduated with honors in the degree of geology. Like I say, he came out here to Arizona to land his first job with a company called Matrix New World, also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. His job entails him checking the viability of wells. That's what his company do. So they hired geologists to do those jobs. He's, like I said, a hydrogeologist, also called a hydrogeologist, and as well as a field geologist. And he's checking those viability of the wells on September sorry, you guys, bear with me. Last year, my son went missing out there in the Buckeye, Arizona on June the 23rd. So I'm messing my times up. You guys, please bear with me. My mind is kind of off this evening. But I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for being out here. Again, supporting me on this Q&A as well. I have my mind on different things. I will be cutting this Q&A kind of short this evening, so you guys can really bear in there with me, because it's been a long day for me as well. Trying to get some things together. So I'm trying to get my mind together. You guys can I'm starting off kind of wrong here, but thank you for joining in with me this evening on this Q&A. I started this Q&A, basically, you guys know that, because I'm trying to make sure I put some questions out for people who have questions, to be able to answer those questions for you guys who's coming out this evening, who have questions about the case as well. Like I said, my son went missing last year. I've been out here for an entire year now searching for him. And, so the fight is going to keep on going for my son. So definitely, guys know he was missing at that well site with last year. So according to that worker who was out there, Ken, my son came out there that morning and was there for roughly 15 minutes and then disappeared. But, we went through that timeline as well this morning. So you guys bear with me on that as well, going through the timeline. Anyway, you guys can, if you have any questions this evening, I'm trying to cut this thing really short this evening. I'm just trying to figure out a way of doing that. You probably can tell my mind is all over the place. Trying to get this Q&A a little different. I started counseling for this evening. There's some prior obligations that came up, and I had to get prepared for that. And so, definitely want you guys to answer your questions as soon as possible. So I'm not going to have a long drawn out beginning here. I'll try to get to the questions as quick as possible, but I just want to put that on the bottom of the screen. And this is the reason why, due to some obligations, some things that's going on tonight, I have to be at a different location soon. So I'll try my mind is there, and at the same time, my mind is here in the Q&A, so you guys can hear it. Like I said, I'm skipping the timeline all wrong, but definitely want to get those questions in this evening. So instead of going through the whole timeline and talking about, my son's story up front and some of my take on these things, I just want to go to some of the questions as well. Try to get some of the questions about my son's disappearance, and do that portion of the Q&A first. So I will be going. First, I want to start off too also about the Day of Remembrance. I do want to throw these things in because it's very important, because that's coming up next month. Day of Remembrance, September the 10th. And I want you guys to come out there as well, to join in to help with these families, help with my families as well. This is for every family who have a missing person in their life. Very difficult time for any family. I know it's a difficult time for me and my family, and just constantly sitting here trying to find different ways to search for my son. And there's a lot of things thrown at you at one time. So for me, it's that way. But also for these families, I want to make sure families have that platform. So you guys can support a Day of Remembrance. Very important event. Like I told you this morning, if you guys can share it on your YouTube channels to you're here on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or whatever, TikTok. If you can share this Day of Remembrance, that will help us as well. We've been putting some events together. The team put the candlelit visuals. You guys remember in the past, as well as the a Day of Remembrance before. We had to reschedule it for September the 10th because of that Roe v. Wade situation. But I want to say, make sure you guys can please get this Day of Remembrance out this time. Get it out far as you can. I really need it out there, so we can get these families some of the help they need, some of the resources as well as getting their story out there, and as well to help you guys put it out there where people can come support, because we definitely need that support as well. If you have any tips, of course, that else the tip line is there. I had to put these out real quick, but I want to get to these questions before I had to, because I'm doing on about a 30-minute Q&A this evening. If you guys can, if you have a tip or anybody know anything that happened with my son and want to share and want to, become clean, that's what I got a tip line for, is for you to be able to share that with me and my family, with the law enforcement as well. Just hit that tip line. That's my tip line. It's my tip line, something I paid for. And I guess I want you guys to really be able to use that. Whoever knows something and heard something, to be able to use that tip line. Like I say, you can remain anonymous. That tip line is 24 hours, 7 days a week. Live operators there to take your call. And like I say, let you be anonymous if you like. If you don't want to speak to anybody, you definitely text the word tip to that number, just like you see on the bottom of the screen. And you still can remain anonymous if you like. Also, for everybody who here as well, hit the like, share, subscribe button. And I definitely want you guys to, be able to do that, so I can get this day's story out far as I can, and to make sure that I can reach as many people as I can. You guys have helped grow this channel, and I really appreciate everything you have done from that point to this point here. So thank you so much for that. And if you want to help distribute these flyers, you guys know my flyer program is still strong. Still getting out thousands of flyers, getting them sent out to different locations. Have people actually making these flyers as well, passing in their communities. You guys can do the same. Go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. The PDF is there. You can hit us up, pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com, and you can request flyers to be sent out to you, or you can call me or request by text 803-200-7994 for these flyers. So different ways you can help. Also, if you want to be a part of an ambassador program as well, and that's tomorrow. I have every Thursday at 5 o'clock here, Arizona time, 8 o'clock Eastern time. You guys want to share, want to help becoming a volunteer ambassador for your city. You come and join in on that Zoom meeting that I have every Thursday at 5 o'clock p.m., 8 p.m. On the East Coast time. And you'll come there, and the Zoom link is right there on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com on the front page, right up under the video there, and you can definitely join in there by clicking that link. So come in, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Share with you guys how that works, how I would like to see it work as well, and how it would benefit also the foundation later on. So if you also want to help in other ways outside of just the flyers, you have other things you would like to help in any kind of way. In my efforts to find my son, and also the efforts to help other families, please hit me up, hit the team up by just hitting that other ways and tab, volunteering other ways tab on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and fill out that form. We can get your skill sets, and that'll be very useful for us as we are growing, especially with the foundation. As we're growing, the things we need, we'll be able to refer back to your skill set. So thanks so much for putting that there as well. Again, I'm putting the contact information out here again. 803-200-7994 is my direct public cell phone number. And also I can be reached at pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com. All right. All right. Thank you so much. And I will be going to the comment section. I'll tell you, I apologize, you guys. You probably can tell things are different in my voice. My mind is at 3 different places right now. So definitely want to be able to get your questions in. This is probably the shortest Q&A. I don't feel like I'm really relaxing and being able to take my time with this whole Q&A. So you guys, thank you for being out here. Mary for being out here. Also, Minnie for being out here as well. Beans, thank you so much for being out here as well. And you know what, I'm going through. If you guys have any questions, please get those questions in. I'm trying to get as many questions as I can, relying on the time that I have left. Want to get these questions in and try to answer some of those quick as I can. And so that's what the Q&A is for. Definitely want to get those in. So if you have those questions, put the capital letter Q there, question mark, word question before your question, that'll help as well. All right. Thank you, Beans, again. Thank you. Oh, here we go. See, I'm messing up again. Still going out of time. Like you guys can see, I'm kind of pushing it along. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here. Thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate you coming out here on the Q&A. Thank you so much for that. Also, thank you, Melissa, for being here on the YouTube side of things. I really appreciate it. You also, Shelby, for being here. God bless you as well. Thank you, GJ Moore. Thank you, PM. Thank you, PM Channel. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you being here. And thank you so much. All right. Thank you, Rachel, for being here as well. Thank you, Sophia, for being here, moderating, and everything you do in the background. I really appreciate you as well. Thank you, Jeep Girl, Jody. Thank you for being here. And thank you for putting us on your mind and praying for me and my family. I really do appreciate that. We all put things like that. That really helps out a lot. It helps me help me go a long way. Also, thank you, thank you so much. I don't want to say your name incorrectly, but thank you so much for being here off of the YouTube side of things as well. You guys, again, as Sophia put here, a day of remembrance. Don't forget that. If you can, put that on your calendar. Very important event. We'd like to see you guys share that event as far as you can, as too many as people as you can. So we definitely need that. Thank you so much for helping us as a team, helping me as a father, and helping the families who's going to be involved with that event, to get the story out, to try to get all the support that we can, and get more families to be able to benefit from this event. So, all right, thank you also again, Sophia, for putting this up as well. If you guys want to donate for the cause, to keep everything going the way it is going here in Arizona. Like I said, I've been here since the beginning with my boots on the ground, searching for my son. Still here doing everything I can to fight for him, doing everything I can to help other families as well. Definitely my first priority is to Daniel, and my first priority is to find him. So you guys want to support everything I'm doing here. You can donate. Keep me here with the boots on the ground, and also keep me in the fight, as well as other things that is needed. So guys, okay, please go to pleasehelp5day.com and hit the donate button. Anything, nothing too small, not too big. I really appreciate it, you guys, for supporting. All right. And also, thank you, Sophia, put that up. But also, if you guys can please go to the petition and put your voice to that petition if you haven't already. You can do it multiple times. You have multiple email addresses. Just put your voice there. You do it multiple times, or just your voice amplified in support of everything I'm doing here as well. Thank you also, Salam. I guess I said I don't want to say it incorrectly, but thank you so much for being here this evening as well. Thanks, Sophia, for putting this up as well. Again, you can print the flyers out. The PDF is on pleasehelp5daniel.com. You can go there and hit that PDF, and you can also print those flyers out as well. Thanks, Sophia. You're on the road. Thanks so much for that. You're on the road and helping me out this evening. Please like and share and subscribe to this channel, because it definitely helps with algorithms to get everything, get Dave's story out there as far as I can. That's one of my biggest goals, is to keep the story going. Again, this Q&A is a little different. You guys can tell I'm cutting it kind of short here, trying to get things moving and get it going. But next week, I definitely will have a full Q&A. Also, we have a family that will be coming, that's scheduled to come on the Primetime Q&A. Also, we have don't forget the fast and prayer for Daniel next week as well. That's close to the 23rd. June 23rd is always going to be that Wednesday, close to that date. So I don't like to say anniversary date, but that date every month. I'll try to go ahead and have a fast and prayer for Daniel. So you guys want to come back for that morning. I do a prayer to bring it in. You guys can join with the fast and prayer, and then on that evening Q&A, prime time, I do a prayer to end it. And like I said, at prime time also we have a family who will be there as well. So definitely want you guys to come back to both of those prime times as well, Q&As, the prime time as well as the morning. So thanks so much. Also, Clumsy, for being here this evening. Thanks for your love and support. I do have a question here from PM Channel, and thank you so much, PM Channel, for putting questions here. Really, that's what the Q&A is for, and I really appreciate your questions and you taking the time to do that. Your question was the worker who went to your daughter's house to check on Daniel's a close friend. Yes, he is a close friend. Is one of the guys that Daniel hang out with off the job. So he was one of the guys that hang out often. He's an office worker, so he's not a geologist in terms of going out in the field and things like that. So doing what Danny do, but he definitely works in the office, and Daniel is a friend of his as well. Odd that he would go to her house. That was one of the things, I guess. She was really stunned because she didn't know him at the time. I guess she couldn't remember, but Daniel did, supposedly, he said, brought him over to her house before, and her apartment. So the thing is, she didn't recognize who he was. Of course, that was really odd to her at the beginning. So of course, she reached out to her parents. She reached out to me and let me know what was going on. So that's how we first got alerted that something was going on with Daniel because of that matrix. And then when I say coworker, you guys, sometimes people get mixed up and think it's a coworker. That's why I don't really call Ken at the well site a coworker. I just call him a worker or a guy who works for another company. Was happened to be working there. Daniel's going to meet him. I never call him a coworker because sometimes I get kind of mixed up. And but the direct coworker of Matrix went out to Daniel's sister's residence in search of him. So also, you guys volunteer in other ways tab. If you guys, like I said, have any skills that you want to think can help in this effort, please put your skill sets there, and it will help us in the future as we going forward. When I say we, I have a team here. We go forward to everything we try to do for others as well as things for Daniel. All right, thank you, Mary, for being here as well. Thank Karita for being here. I really appreciate it. Well, yes, I'm feeling okay. I really feel okay. I just got a lot on my mind, and I have a lot going on at one time. My mind is in 3 different places, and so it kind of reflected. I kind of tried to pre-think how I was going to do this Q&A and how I was going to try to cut it kind of short because I really have short time, you guys, to be on here tonight. And so that's why it came off kind of rough at the beginning. So it's kind of took me out of my norm. And so I was kind of trying to work around with that. So I'm getting back on track now. So I really thank you guys for bearing with me on that. So thank you again for, I thought there's a question here, or is it a question? What is Daniel like? What is Daniel like clubs? Bars, clean cut, hobbies. What is Daniel like? Okay, well, Daniel's a typical. If you have a question, you guys, please put the word question there, or a capital letter Q or some question marks before your question. That kind of helped me find it. I just so happened to see yours there, and kind of saw some question marks in there, so I'm kind of assuming there was questions. But what I understand here is you're asking his personality. Daniel is a typical person. He's not a person that just go clubbing all the time or hanging out in the streets, or he's a geologist, he's a scientist. He just have a normal life as a normal person. Of course, he go out and enjoy himself with his friends or things like that. He's always been that way, hanging with his friends. I don't know exactly what they do. Of course, I'm a father. I'm not hanging with their friends. But Daniel is a very, very responsible young man. He's very family oriented young man, and also he love his family. He have high spirits and high goals. Daniel is so confident in himself. Daniel was born without one hand. He's missing one of his hands, born that way. And nobody will, sometimes you wouldn't even pay attention to that. You have never even realized it unless you're physically looking at him, because his personality is so strong. He's very strong. He would get your attention. His personality is really high. So he's really easy to make friends with and stuff like that. So there's a lot I can say about Daniel. His aspirations in life is really big. He have big dreams. He goes after his dreams. He's very thoughtful. So he has to be a lot of questions as well. He has a lot of advice. So he's very thoughtful in everything he do before he do it. So, like I said, he always do his due diligence first, and figure out how to approach certain situations to make his goal. So very thoughtful guy, very thoughtful young man. So I really miss him. I miss a lot about him, miss being able to talk with him as well. But yeah, definitely, like I said, love his family, love his grandparents. You name it. That's just Daniel. Hobbies wise, he liked to go hiking and things like that. Of course, he loved the beach as well. Of course, growing up with us, his parents, he definitely spent a lot of time at beaches. So of course, that's automatic. He will love going out to a beach. But as in the desert, it's different from me. He loved to go hiking and things like that. Right here in the desert areas, he loves stuff like that. So That's one of his hobbies, playing video games, that type typical person. So music wise, yes, the same thing. All right. Thank you also, Larnell, for being here as well. I really appreciate you, board member, as well as being here, support, also a team member. So thanks so much. I really appreciate you being here. I believe I said it before, but thank you, Mary, again for being here on the Q&A. If anybody have any more questions, please, by all means, you can ask the question by putting the capital letter Q there, followed by the question, or capital letter the word question there first, or some question marks and things like that, where I can find your question as I'm coming down. Thank you, Carolyn. I did get your message today. I really appreciate it, and thank you for your support. I don't forget anything, all your labor of love. Like I sent a message back to you. I really thank you for your labor of love as well. Been out there in the desert with us, and all the hard work you put in and out there, as well as the flyer distribution, that as well as your prayer coming out to the when I went out to the city council meetings. You was there, saying to spoke on my behalf and my son, so in our family. So I really appreciate that, treating Daniel like as one of your own. So I'm really grateful for everything you do. Everything you do don't go unnoticed, and I really appreciate that. Thanks so much. All right. Thank you also, Clumsy, again for your question. Was the female mentioned earlier on in the investigation a girlfriend to Daniel? No, they was never dating or anything like that. Daniel just spent the night there. He met her through a Instacart situation, delivering some food items to those two young ladies there as well. We still to this day don't know who the second lady is, but definitely, yeah. It wasn't a girlfriend, but someone he just met there. Of course, they spent a lot of time speaking on the text messages and things like that. So they got to know each other very well. Well, I was confused on as of their relationship. Well, they'll have you believe that Daniel believed that he was in some kind of relationship with her or something. He was in love with a woman he didn't know. Daniel never said that to me or his family members or anybody. So that's not true. What y'all read in the reports. I never said that also, what you read in the reports as well. So my daughter haven't said that when you read it. But that's one of the things we was asking the Buckeye Police Department to remove from that report, but they haven't so far. So you guys read that. That's inaccurate. That's something Daniel never spoke to us about and say he was ever in love with this woman. He haven't used the word love when he came to that woman. And so that's one thing that's not true. So you got those things. So that would kind of throw people off and think it's some type of relationship type deal. No, it was more like, if you want to put it in a smaller term, like almost like a one night stand type situation. So, but carry on with conversation. All right. So thanks so much for that. Also, PM, thank you for this question here as well. Will you have a media conference to announce a day of remembrance? That's a good idea. I think we did something. We did what we call as a press release. We have done that, but yeah, it would definitely be something if we could. I may be able to. When I think about it, PM, I haven't done a family press conference in a while yet. I could, incorporate that into a family press conference, and I'll talk to the team about it. I'm sure they listen to me now. I did see a couple of team members here on the chats, so we'll probably discuss that, and that'll probably be a good option as well, to be able to put Day of Remembrance out a lot farther, and also, like you said, to get the media coverage to go with it, news media. That is maybe just local, but at the same time, I do have, for instance, CNN reached out to me today to do a follow up. So we do have, I did mention it to them as well, and hopefully they kind of amplify that Day of Remembrance. So, all right, thank you so much for that advice, question/advice. That really helped out. It'll help out with everything we're doing. Also, Ellison, thanks so much for being here as well. I really appreciate that. Really, really nice thing you're saying. And those are kind of things I really appreciate, you guys. It really helped me morally, mentally, where everything goes on at one time. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of keep it all. And also, like I told you this morning, it's not easy. It's not easy. I know I short a lot of time because it's not easy. Some people say, how you stay so strong? You have to, first of all, you have to try. You have to at least try to stay strong, but it's not easy. I can tell you that it's not easy. Doing this every day, all the time, Your life is about that, doing those, and your child still missing at the end of the day, still have a missing son, and so it's not easy. So really, when I hear nice things like that, I really appreciate it. God bless you for that. I really appreciate it. Thank you, She Rose Nation, for being here. I really appreciate it. And I know you're here to support. And also, thanks for coming to, for instance, the ambassador meeting as well. I'm really grateful that you came out there to listen, as well as being here in support on the Q&As and supporting in other ways. I'm sure you're sharing Daniel's story, things like that. So thanks so much as well. You guys have any more questions? I have a few more minutes to go. Like I told you before, I am cutting this Q&A a lot shorter than I normally would. I would put this on the bottom of the screen, but I'm cutting a lot shorter than I normally would. That's why you see me kind of seem like kind of rushing somewhat. Just trying to make sure I get off at a certain time so I can take care of some things that have to be taken care coming up. So it's coming up tonight. All right. And so if you have any questions, I will be trying to just go straight to these questions as much as possible. Just kind of go down the comment section as much as possible. So if I don't get to say thank you guys for showing up, I really thank each and every last one of you. You too, Terry. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Shauna, for your question as well, for being a board member and also a team member. Thank you. How long had Daniel been living in Phoenix area before he disappeared? I think it was roughly 2 years. I want to be correct on that. I think Daniel been in Arizona a total of 3 years when he ended up going missing. I may be a little off on that number, but somewhere around that point. Before he went missing, I say a little over 2 years. He'd been out in Arizona and doing his job. So like I said, doing the job, start off with a small little car, worked his way and got himself a better vehicle that's nice, Jeep Renegade, and very proud of it. Taking care of himself, living alone. He had a roommate at one point, and the roommate left, and living alone, like I said, take care of his own self, doing his man thing. So I'm really proud of him, everything he was doing to accomplish for himself, starting his life off in his career. So yes, he's been here for a little while. I say about 2 years, a little over 2 years before he went missing. All right, Clumsy, thanks so much again, and thank you for your question. Do you ever question these women? I question them all the time. To myself and with my investigation, also to my investigator. It's some things I even heard from my investigator. For instance, everybody always asking people things, right? They ask them things. They ask them stories, what their story is, but they never dig into their story, right? Nothing ever add up. I even heard one of the guy mention without evidence that he had text messages from Daniel. Produce them, So those things is they haven't done that. Those text messages have been deleted. They have been removed from Daniel's phone. Daniel's phone has been wiped. The memory card has been taken out the phone. That type deal. And somehow they don't still see foul play. Don't see some kind of something going on suspicious in that dealing with the phone, for instance, dealing with the messages between the two that don't add up to the phone records. And the number of text messages don't add up to what is on the police report in terms of the text messages. And so that type of stuff, just taking somebody's word at it and they just upload their own stuff. So sometimes it depends on the person. They get the benefit of doubt. Just you ask a simple question to them and then they're believable. They're credible to them without proof. And then other times, for other people, they can make assumptions like, he wanted to go disappear on his own. He's a grown man and he want to disappear if he want to. Type deal, like the Buckeye Police Department said to me when Daniel went missing. So with that right there, I ask myself questions all the time about that. Saying of course I have answers about some answers I do have on that behalf, and those will be coming out pretty soon later whenever I can ever release certain things. I mean, maybe one of them had a crazy ex and was jealous of Daniel. Now, one thing I did mention to Daniel as well, he and I talked about the young lady, and one thing, as from a father standpoint, I was uptight when he did tell me he spent the night on the first night with these women, spent the night over their house, and that's the first question I asked him. Look, how you know that's her house? How you know she's not married? certain things that parents would ask their child. Those are things I did ask Daniel. He did give me some answers I didn't like. Of course, he was like, hey, she thinks, that is her house, basically things like that. But what I'm saying is, that's the first question that a parent would ask. It could be a jealous husband or a husband that lived there or anything, boyfriend, whatever the case may be. And I told him I thought that was one of the non smart thing he's done. Very, very intelligent young man. But that's the dumbest thing an intelligent person can do. So, so we did have a talk about that, he and I, before he went missing. And, that's a concern for me as well. So that's one thing you can think about. Also, let's see who else I got here. Thank you, Shauna, for putting this up as well, down in the chats. But you guys, if you have any more questions, I do see one more here. All right, here we go. Thank you, Beans. Thank you, Beans 1170, for being here. I really appreciate it. Was Daniel's phone found? Yes, it was. Excuse me. His phone was found on July the 19th with the vehicle. It was found inside that vehicle right here in this scene here, according to the Buckeye Police Department. But the thing is, when that phone was finally returned to me for safekeeping, with marked for safekeeping, it was missing. Once it came out of the Buckeye's hand, it was missing the memory card. I asked the detective about that. He said nobody touched that phone. He got off the scene, he put it in his back pocket, and nobody messed with the phone. He had it, right? They cloned the phone and then they put it, I guess, in the evidence bag and gave it to me for safekeeping, right? Clone the phone. So it was missing the memory card. His whole Google history to location, all that stuff, wiped from the phone. His deleted text message in it, the trash was empty. And anything in there, of course, permanently delete after 30 days. So a lot of that was missing in the phone. Everything about this young lady, the crazy part about everything that I ever text my son, my family texts, his friends, to you name it, everything is still in intact. Messages, you can go to each message and way back to when Daniel got the phone. But when it came to the young lady, everything about her wiped out the phone, everything except for her name, her phone number, her contact information. Just the name and phone number still there, but everything else wiped out the phone. Anything concerning her wiped out the phone. So those are kind of things I thought about too as well. But that phone was found at the scene. If you want to know, yes, it found at the scene, but it wasn't found in a good way, in a suspicious way. That also would suggest some type of nefarious act on his phone. But the police department don't see it that way. They continue to go down the road of saying, these are just some crazy incidents, I guess. I don't know what they're saying. But I know the fact is they're not doing anything I think law enforcement should be doing when you see how suspicious things like that going on without explanation, to look into those things. So, all right. And thank you, Ashley, for being here. I just want to say that real quick. I see you here. I see your name again. I really appreciate it. You're not late. Matter of fact, I'll be getting off pretty soon. This probably be the shortest Q&A you ever seen. But I want to tell you, thank you so much for showing up anyway, and I really appreciate it. Also, thank you, Lauren, for your question. Have you received support and information from Daniel's employer and coworkers? I'm kind of slow of saying it the way where I really feel they could have done more, of course. The first thing I'm thinking, hindsight now, of course, my whole motivation and thought and pull when the police department told me they were going to search for my son is to get my behind out here and go find Daniel. That's the only thing I cared about. The only thing I cared about was getting here some kind of way fast as I could. I mean, I could have flew, but my mind wasn't thinking. I just grabbed everything and hopped in my car. That's how urgent it was. Whatever I left back in South Carolina, I just left it. And so getting here urgently, it was the last thing in my mind what the job could have done. Hindsight, yes, I shouldn't have had to drive 2,000 miles to get here to Arizona without the job and the company itself going out and have helicopters out there searching for their employee on their time. Daniel's on their time. And out there searching for their worker. So they haven't done that stuff. Only thing you guys know about is his friend from the job went out to his sister's house to see if he was there because the job was looking for inquiry. I don't know if they was like, hey, we really need these readings from that well, or they really was like, man, we really want to make sure you're all right. So you did hear some voicemails that I put on the timeline when they did call and leave some voicemail, and it seemed like they have voicemails concerned. So I wouldn't want to believe that they're very concerned about Daniel not answering his phone. I guess I'm assuming that because they did have some missed calls. But as in going out to do anything, no. When I got out to Arizona, it took me some time to get my desert searches together. It wasn't a long time. It was within days to get the searches out there in that desert. But in the meantime, like I said, there was no efforts out there outside of Buckeye claiming they did that first search almost 3 days after Daniel went missing. There was nothing else done. So definitely was getting my searches together. Of course, they had the Civil Air Patrol go out. That's the Buckeye Police Department. Almost 2 weeks after that first one, and had them go out and each time they came out empty-handed. But the thing is, I'm saying for the job standpoint, no, they have not been in the formal searches to going out there in that desert look for my son. They waited till I started the search. I started searches, and when I say they waited, I don't know if it's a job mandate. Like I said before, the job said, "Hey, I need y'all workers to go out there and support the Robinson family into his search and go out there and search for Daniel." But I did have at least about 6 or 7 of them would come out to my searches as volunteers. They would man the gate and things like that, and do some searching out there near the well site. So with me in my search, but they never organized anything of their own to go out there and search for Daniel. That's what I'm saying. So that's one of the things right there is important. Yes, one thing the owners offered me to be able to use the office space there. I thought that was very nice. But at the time I couldn't mix family with business or mix family with Daniel's job like that. So I had to turn down the offer, but it was really nice. They offered me office space as well as saying they support in other ways. So I really appreciate them. They donated owners donated to the GoFundMe as well to help me in the searches, keep the searches out there going. So I really appreciate them on that behalf as well. But as in any other kind of support, things like that, no. Information from Dane's employer or coworker. Well, they do sit down with me many times in a board meeting. I did have several board meetings with them, sitting in the boardroom with them and had questions. They asked a lot of questions. That's why I know a lot of these things about how Daniel's job worked. Like I told you guys, he's a field geologist. The field geologist is rarely in the office. They come in, they have a back door, they can come in, they drop their samples off and pick up the samples and take them to some of these samples go to some of these places get tested, whatever the case may be. They're definitely going in and out the back door. Sometimes they don't see what I was told. They sometimes even see the field geologists because they in and out. They're out of there. They come sometimes to that office. They don't actually work out in the field. That's why they get their assignments at home and they go straight to wherever they need to be going to. So that always made me question also the Buckeye Police Department's police report when they say co-workers, and I don't know who these co-workers, they never use name, but you have noticed they use one person name because that's the only person they talk to. They have a habit of putting plurals to everything they do. Like they told me they had pictures, but gave me one. They put plurals to a lot of things, but no co-workers ever told them all that stuff. A co-worker told them, and there's one that was Dane's friend, the same one that went to my daughter's house to see if he was there. But all those co-workers with plural, they don't even see Dane to make an assessment of how his mood was and his, what they felt a mental state. He's acting odd and strange or whatever the case may be in the report, things like that. So, all right, I'm going a little farther and I'm getting ready to lose track of my time. So I'm trying to stay on board on my time. So I'm going to try to keep going down this comment section and see if you guys have more questions and try to answer them quick as possible. Thank you, Clumsy, again, for your question. And thank you for being here. If you guys are new here as well, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button right now. So we can help this channel to grow a lot farther. I really need you guys to do that if you can. You guys got over 1,000 subscribers, and it came with some other things that I still haven't used yet, and that will be able to help Daniel's story go out, as well as families who will be on this Q&A. Like, for instance, the one that's coming next week to be on the Q&A. It definitely helped getting their story out as well. So, Clumsy, I have a question here. Did they ever give any reason for not furthering questioning these families, these females? Like, where have they been? Did they turn over their devices. It's a couple things. They needed a statement from this other young lady who was there. You don't see that in the report. We need to know a name of this person that was there or something, age, something, but they don't have that in the report. Like you said, where's the surveillance cameras footages from this lady's phone? They won, from her camera in her house. They the one put in their report that she said she's seen him through surveillance camera. Well, let's see that. Let's see that. They the police. They can ask for that. She's willing to give some kind of text messages away. Why would she be willing? Why would she have been willing to give some video footage of surveillance? What's going on the cameras? So things like that. So those things of being from sloppy, my opinion, sloppy detective work or whatever you want to call it, half doing a job because they don't, don't really care. And then the fact that, if you really allow somebody to put up their own text messages, it's something to me nefarious about that. To being able to put a hearsay testimony, and as well, like I told you guys before, they cannot come and accuse excuses like, oh, they knew something. Because Daniel's phone said this. They haven't put nothing about Daniel's phone to this date. What they found in his phone, because it ain't nothing. It's been erased and things like that. So if they have that, they need to put that in the report as well. Let's hear the whole full conversation between him and the young lady. They say they cloned the phone. Where's those full conversations? The other part is, like I said, they allow her to upload that into the police report before Daniel's phone was found. Daniel's phone wasn't found yet. That stuff was in that police report before Daniel's vehicle even was found. So you guys got to think about that as well. All right. And thank you so much, Clumsy, for your question. Anybody have any more questions? I have a few more minutes left, and I will be cutting the Q&A off. I apologize for it. Yes, I definitely. I'm still in Arizona. Thanks so much, Jackie. Thank you so much for Jackie, if I said it correct. Blue. Thanks so much for your question. Yes, I'm still in Arizona, still fighting for Daniel. Still have my boots on the ground, and you guys have kept me here. So I had times I had to go home and take care of some things. So I'm really grateful for being able to do that. I do have a young daughter as well. I have to take care of in South Carolina. Of course, I live there. I have a home there. So I do have to go home. I have family, my mother, everybody. So definitely had time where I had to go home and take care of some things. So I'm really grateful for those opportunities. But definitely my foot here is on the ground, my boots on the ground, and I have to remain here. So I ask you guys to help me along with that as well. So thanks so much. I really appreciate that. Yeti Khan again for being here. Thank you, Clumsy, for your question. Also, again, have you reached out to EquiSearch? Yes, I have. That's when I smile with that because I hear the EquiSearch a lot. I have reached out to, I think his name was Dave Rader. Of course, I say it again for those who don't know. I did reach out to them many times. Reached out to a lot of non-profits many times. Each time you guys say, hey, reach out to these people. Have you heard this person? I reach out to a lot of people. But one thing about EquiSearch, they told me that Daniel's, of course, his case didn't fit their profile, whatever that means. But in their defense, they did give me, refer me to a different nonprofit who specializes in drones. I did reach out to that nonprofit as well. They said it was going to come out to a search. Of course, went through the whole process of trying to get Buckeye to see if they can invite them in and that type stuff. Of course, that nonprofit didn't show up as well. They had some issues with their workers, he said. So they didn't show up as well. So I reached out to a lot of nonprofits. The only nonprofits that did actually assist is Black and Missing. I want to give really homage to them as well for their help donating as well as helping on their behalf, Derica from Black and Missing and Natalie. So I really thank those two for their efforts and everything they have done from a from a nonprofit standpoint. So, but I reached out to many. Reached out to many of them since the time. But you know what? That's why God blessed me to have the Daniel Robinson Foundation, that we'll be doing some things for families as well. Some of the things I've been wanting to happen to try to help families, provide things for families that I needed, for instance, when I was out in the searches and things like that. So that's what the nonprofit would be for, Daniel Robinson Foundation, to be able to help other families, not to go through some of the things I had to just to, search for my son. So that they are a nonprofit. They have helped in the Summer Wells case and two boys from California. Yes, I hear about these cases. A lot of these cases, of course, and I thank God for them receiving those type of helps. I see it a lot. A lot of families. So a lot of nonprofit does some great things, and I really appreciate that work they do to help these families. So really grateful for that. Because these families, I'm telling you guys, it's not easy when you're out there trying to find your loved one and you don't have the help. So whenever you have any type of nonprofit organization that actually helping these families, I give my hats off to them for their efforts. All right, JC Adams, thank you so much for your question as well on the Q&A. Has the first well that Daniel was at been thoroughly searched? No, not on my behalf. I didn't go out and search that well. It's a little different kind of place where to be able to do that. Had to go through a lot of strains to be able to do that. But I try to look at that place as something that my investigation didn't lead that he was at that well site too long enough, or if he was really at the well site. Only thing that verified he was there to me is the work logs that he took a picture of that morning. So, but it's some other things that's dealing with that well site, coming from that well site to the second well site that I'm more concerned about. But no, as far as I know, no, not from me anyway. All right, thank you so much for your question, but thank you, Pamela, for your question as well. How many planes or helicopters looked for him, and how many times? Well, I had to charter a helicopter before. Then we also had a Fitz aircraft chartered as well for my searches, and that's on my behalf. On Please Help Find Daniel, my behalf, not law enforcement. Law enforcement, from what I understand, almost 3 days after my son was missing, they had the Phoenix Police Department came out under their request, came out to fly out in the desert to fly over. I don't know how they did it. I'm still waiting on the information, but the flyover that on that date, like I said, almost 3 days after Daniel was missing. Also, there was a Fitz aircraft. And I did videotape this. Despite what the report said, they did 2 pass-overs. That's not true. I got video footage to prove that as well. They did 1 pass-over with a back and forth pass-over. When I say one direction, one that's next, and just keep doing this all the way up north, passing over the area with a Fitz aircraft, and this from Civil Air Patrol almost 2 weeks after Daniel went missing. And then also they claim they used Phoenix again helicopter that came out when the vehicle showed up on July 19th out there. They claimed they had low flying helicopters and they was flying so low. The man, I hold my hands up. I mean, they literally tell me this crazy stuff. I could touch the ball in the helicopter and the man hanging out the window and all this kind of crazy stuff, superhero hatching heroes type stuff. They claimed they had a helicopter out then. But that's not the testimony of the rancher, saying they didn't have any helicopter, and as well as they only use drones. So I kind of believe that, since I did in that meeting as Chief Hall to give me everything, all the pictures they have. He said they're gonna give me everything, all the pictures they took from the footage, from the air footage and everything else. When they gave me everything, the only thing they gave me was a flash drive with a file labeled drone footage. And that's the only thing. So it kind of going consistent with everything what the rancher said when it comes to who was out there. He told me the number of officers, and it's kind of crazy because you look at through their pictures, their own drone pictures, you can literally count the officers out there. And I said about six officers total was out there in that area. There was no big massive search and all that stuff, according to their own drone footage, massive searching efforts, stuff like that. So, but that's it. That's all I know of. Like I said, the rest of it is myself in my own search. Of course, that's expensive as well. But that's the kind of thing that I had to provide for my search, but it's not for the Buckeye Police Department. They had to do their own by I guess chartering or asking Phoenix Police Department. All right, do we have a question here also from Daryl? Daryl, thanks so much for the question. I will be coming short, you guys. I only have a few more minutes. Buckeye has not closed Daniel's case, but are they not actively investigating it? Is that right? Well, they say 2 things. They say a lot of things, right? They told me on July the 20th when this vehicle was found, right after that, of course, they gave me everything. literally gave me everything for safekeeping. Well, they gave me the vehicle first. Told me, threatened me if I didn't get it out of there, they was gonna have total away that stuff. Of course, I had them to hold it for me because I tried to find a place to send the vehicle. Give them 3 days, but I ended up having a meeting with them guys, and of course, forced them to do at least a fingerprinting before I pull that vehicle out of there, which they did. They said they did. But as in investigating, they literally told me, and they came on news, and I still had the article, and I got that. Thank God for the local news channel. Keep that stuff. And also, they put it on their Facebook page. There's also all their leads. There's more leads to follow in my son's case. And that's like I said, they gave me everything. They gave me everything in safekeeping. So I have that, as well as the statement from my investigator when they gave him the black box data. Well, that's where my investigator got that from, and he read it. I don't know how to read their own data, but he read their data for them. And that's how you guys find out 11 additional miles and all the stuff, and how, that kind of stuff, what happened with that black box data. They the one pulled it and gave it to my investigator. When they gave it to him, they say, hey, we're not investigating. That's the reason why they gave it to him. Hey, you have all of this. We're not investigating the case. We have no leads to follow. It's done for them. They was done. They gave me also a final report. They gave me a partial report in the meeting. Chief Hall promised me the final report once the detective finished writing his parts, and they did that. I have that final report to this date. So in my estimation, no, there's no investigation. They never came to me direct to my family or me and my family. I'm here. They can tell y'all anything, the public, whatever they can say, until they come to me directly and say, I'm investigating your son's disappearance. No, they're not investigating Daniel's disappearance. They haven't done anything to suggest to me that they're investigating my son's disappearance. So, so that type deal. And not only that, at this point, I don't want them handling my son's case. Of course, you guys know that because they damaged it already enough. I'm really asking them to send it over to a different department and let them have a look at my son's case and handle it from there. All right. So as it stands, no, I don't believe they're investigating. All right. And see, I think I'm going to take one more question, you guys, and I will have to jump off. And no, it's a Karita. Thank you, Karita. If you guys have more questions, please save those for the next Q&A. I want to apologize. I know I started off real rough. My mind's all over the place. I couldn't even get the timeline right starting off this Q&A. So I apologize for that. My mind's all over the place. I was just sitting there before I had to come on, and I was kind of anticipating in my mind how I was going to do this Q&A at the last minute. When I realized that I had to take care of something this evening, very important. And, in the lift of time, I have to do the Q&A. I started to cancel the Q&A for this evening, but I wanted to make sure I support, you guys support me, and I want to support the fact that you guys are supporting me and be here, be present, and try to answer as many questions as I can. So thank you guys for coming out to Q&A. I'm going to take this last question. If you have any more, I apologize. Like I said, you guys can come back next week on the next Q&A, and please say those questions for me. If you can, I would like to answer those. The question from Karita: is there anything specific, and those that are watching can pray for today? Yes, well, definitely, of course, the obvious that God bless me, and that's why I have the Wednesday coming. You guys fast and prayer for Daniel. I really need more guidance. I'm still going to continue to need guidance. I really believe that things happen the way they do for me on the ground mentally. I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like I haven't accomplished much, being that I don't have my son. So one of the biggest things for me is to have clarity, me personally, have clarity, have guidance, and to me to bring my son home for his mother's home suffering, you guys, though, just because I'm going to say, hey, I'm here, because I'm present. I'm one here fighting for my son. I'm here on the ground. So you hear a lot of what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. But you also got to think about the mother. Pray for his mother. She's going through her way. Also, his siblings. He do have siblings. They are going through it their way as well. And our entire family, whether it's on his mother's side of the family or my side of the family. Pray for these families. Pray for my family. Pray for me. That's one of the biggest things when it comes to prayer. When it comes to everything else, definitely pray for Daniel. If he's out there, keep him safe. If he's not out there, like I said, just have God guide me to where he's at. Touch those person's heart. Whoever know what happened to my son, I ask for God, you guys to pray for conviction. Ask God to put some hard conviction in their mind to say something, because you can't be a human to be able to sit there and know what happened and just keep your mouth shut. And so be able to tell a person to, hey, look, utilize that tip line and reach out, because I've been out here for a year. You see a father out here begging, you see a family out here hurting, to say something. So that's why I ask for specific things like that, to have people to say, look, enough is enough. It's been a year. It's time to come clean or something. Something. Just bring some closure. Also, you guys are definitely some specific wise. Anything I need specific is some of those things that we have been putting out. Everything that's on the Please Help Find Daniel Wise website, as well as things we're doing to help other families, a day of remembrance, things like that. So definitely those support, definitely those specific things. And I still need those encouragements from you guys. When you encourage me like that, say some nice things that are very helpful as well. So thank you, Karita. You already know. And I really thank you. Again, I said thank you again for sending me that link of prayer. And I really appreciate that. You and the ladies on y'all prayer. I really appreciate that. So thanks so much as well. Again, you guys, I will apologize. I will have to cut this Q&A short this evening. I will be back next week. And if I was to help for even the extra Q&A, I would do that. You guys who follow on all the social medias, the Please Help Find Daniel, all the social medias, Please Help Find Daniel, except for Twitter. Twitter is Please Help Find the number 4. Please Help Find 4. Please Help Find 4, the number 4. Everything else is Please Help Find Daniel. You can follow me mostly on Twitter. That's where I'm mostly at. Trying to do more of TikTok as well. Also Instagram and Facebook. And this YouTube channel. So you guys, please keep my family in prayer. Keep sharing Darren's story if you can. I cannot let his story die. And you guys can help me do that by sharing his story constantly. Constantly sharing the story. Don't give up on it, please. And I really need you to keep on pushing it for me. So thanks so much. And I love you all. And I really appreciate your time. God bless you. And I'll see you on the next Q&A.